In June 5, 2024, the Boeing Starliner launched a simple mission that took two astronauts to the International Space Station for 8 days. But here we are months later. They are still up there. The reason will shock you, and this might expose the biggest engineering scandal in the NASA's history. These are Ukraine's astronauts. We are talking about the commander Barry Wilson, the former Navy test pilot with over 259 days in space, and the Sunita Williams, which completed 4 spacewalks and rather the boosted marathon from the orbit. These veterans who trusted their lives to the Boeing engineering. But think about this, that we are supposed to be 8 days mission and now stretched beyond 100 days. Would you get a plane? If you know there was a chance, you might never land. That's the reality of the astronaut now faces. So it's just a small alien leak in cluster. It's manageable, and those leaks from the Boeing engineer might become the most expensive mistake in the space history. Because once in the orbit, the small leak can be a 5 separate propulsion system failure. And here is the terrifying part. The thrusters aren't just for moving the around in space, and therefore the most critical part of the mission coming home. Imagine driving a car when suddenly your brake fails and your steering locks and your engine starts suffering. All you are going 70,500 miles per hour. That's what happened in Starliner. The astronaut had to be manually overdrive the automated system just to dock the ISS, coming dangerously close to a collision. This is the fact NASA doesn't want you to know, and they pay the Boeing nearly twice that they pay the SpaceX for essentially the same service. And that's what the extra 1.6 billion gets NASA. The SpaceX has already 11 successful human missions to ISS, and the Boeing can't even complete one, putting astronaut lives at risk. This math is staggering. Each SpaceX seat costs about taxpayers about 55 million, and each Boeing seat and 90 million. And the SpaceX mark Boeing visit. Make you wonder who at NASA made this decision and why. In January 28, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded in 73 seconds after launch. On February 1, 2003, the Columbia disintegrates during the re-entry in 14 August North. Both disasters shared one common fact: the engineer marring ignored. The NASA learned those lessons the hard way, and that's why they are refusing to let the Wilmore and William to risk their lives in spacecraft with failing thrusters. But this created a new problem. How do they get them home? The answer is just surprising as intimidating for the boy. So NASA will bring them back on SpaceX Crew Dragon in February 2025. That means their astronaut will spend over 8 months in space, and all because Boeing couldn't build a reliable spacecraft after 10 years and 4.2 billion about. This isn't just a space problem, it's a Boeing problem. A Boeing 735 might suffer a mid-air emergency roar when a door panel explosive decomposing at 16,000 feet. Only luckily prevented the passage from being sucked out. In 2018 and 2019, two Boeing of 737 MAX planes crashed and killed about 346 people. And the cause of faulty automated system and a corporate culture that prioritized the profit over safety. That humanity is still being struggling to get. So this is how a later pattern, the rushed engineering, ignored warning, cost cutting, and every turn. The same culture that led to deadly plane crashes is now enduring the cosmos. And the most shocking part, Boeing know about that, the Starliner cluster problem before launch, and they flew away that. May you think this is another cooperative scandal that blew over? For NASA, this is an existential crisis. The Boeing was supposed to be safe, reliable choice, and the company that built the Saturn rocket that took the human to the moon. Now the NASA is shifting its focus entirely on SpaceX for the future missions. The Boeing Starliner will likely never carry humans again, and the company once defined American aerospace excellence in watching the newcomers like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and even India's Gaganyaan program that did leading to the human space. The most mind-blowing fact in this entire story, if the Boeing had delivered on time, they would have the beaten SpaceX to ISS. Instead, their delays gave SpaceX time to perfect their systems, and now SpaceX must rescue the astronaut from the Boeing failures. So what happened? Next for Wemo and Williams, they continued their extended stage on the ISS, which conducting experiments and maintenance, and all while their rescue ride arrived before any more system failed on the ISS station. This isn't just about one failed mission, it's about future of space exploration and whether we can trust the companies building the vehicles and that take us to the stars. This is how the Williams and Wemo got rescued from the ISS by the help of SpaceX. Think of this, you are grabbed inside a metal capsule which plummeting towards Earth at 25,000 km per hour. Outside your window, temperature have reached about 1650 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt the steel, and one wrong move or one tiny miscalculation, you will disintegrate into the ash. You see in the rocket launches, the dramatic countdowns, the fiery ascents. But what if I told you that the most dangerous part of the science travel, space travel, isn't going up, it's coming down? The Sunita Williams and Barry Memo just survived the exact scenario. That what you didn't see in the headlines was how closely they come to the disaster. Let's dive deep how they entered into the Earth by avoiding the hidden dangers that they were gonna fall. The most people think of the space travel like on air flight. Takeoff might be rough, but landing is just a controlled descent, right? But the reentry is nothing like a landing of a plane. When you are re-entering the Earth's atmosphere from the space, you are not just falling, you are creating a controlled explosion. The air in the front of spacecraft compresses so violently that it turns into the plasma, the same stuff that makes up the surface of the sun. And this plasma envelope surrounds your spacecraft, creating the temperature that could vaporize your milliseconds. And here is the part that they don't tell you. We still can't fully test the heat shield on Earth because we can't recreate these exact conditions here. Before Sunita and Mary could even think about coming to the home, the NASA had to check something the most people would never consider: the ocean's mood. That's right, if the seas are too rough at the splash site, the waves higher than 2 meters of wind is about 165 km per hour. The entire mission gets scrubbed. Why? Because after surviving the inferno of re-entry, astronauts could still down if their capsule trip over in the rough water. It's like surviving a car crash only to find yourself sinking in a lake. Even NASA's most advanced space capsule can't only stay afloat. What if they land upside down? Once they decide to come home, there is no turning back. The first critical step, separate from the International Space Station without damage. Think about the parallel parking a car. Now, imagine doing it backward, blindfolded at 27,000 km per hour. That where the slightest miscalculation would fit a 150 million space station. That's the precision astronaut that they do for under. But here's what makes you plumb set. The capsule must then drop into front. The entire space section. If we separate fast, the astronauts are doomed. The extra weight and maneuver shapes that could chase the capsule to turbulence, the uncontrollably will re-entry. Now comes the moment of truth. Hitting the Earth's atmosphere at exactly a right angle. Too shallow, you will bounce off the atmosphere like a stone skipping in water. Lost in space forever, too steep, you will burn up like a video. The margin of error is between 5-7 degrees, and if you tilt your head slightly to look at something, you will already move more than that. And this precision must be achieved while traveling at speeds. Moreover, most flight jets could disintegrate. And now, the part NASA fears the most: communication blackout. For 6 external minutes, the astronauts are completely alone. No radio contact from mission control. No way to call or help. Why? Because the plasma around the capsule broke all the communication channels at that time. The same phenomenon that prevents the mission control from warning the Columbia crew that they were in danger before they get disintegrated. Imagine being inside a fireball, feeling your spacecraft shakes violently, and hearing unknown bangs and cracks that having nothing, absolutely no idea if you are going to survive for that 6 full minutes. That's the reality of re-entry. Let's say you survive the plasma inflow. Now you are still falling at a supersonic speed towards the Earth. Your last hope, the fabric parachute, and that must deploy perfectly or you will hit the ocean with the force of a meteor. What NASA doesn't advertise is that during early testing, these parachutes failed multiple times. In one SpaceX test, the main chute doesn't open at all. In a Boeing test, only 2 of these 3 deployed correctly. Think about the final barrier between the life and death is essentially advanced by the nylon, and that must unfold correctly after being packed away from the month and then subject to an extreme temperature and forces. The final moment splashdown. The capsule hits the water at approximately 25 km per hour. That's like jumping off a second story building. But here's a truly mind-blowing fact. After surviving the reentry, the astronauts are often too weak to walk. After months in zero gravity, their muscles are atrophied and their bones have low density. The same gravitational force you take for granted, feeling like crushing the weight down. Some astronauts can even lift their own arms after landing. The Sunita Williams lost 1.5% of her bone density each month in space, and that means that returned with non significantly weaker than she left. Her body quite literally sacrificed itself for science. Next time you watch a rocket launching, remember getting up there is just a half battle. Getting home is where the real danger lies. The technologies that keep the astronauts alive during the re-entry represent some humanity's great engineering achievement, designed to solve the problems most of us that ever considered. But the future might be even more incredible. The SpaceX is testing a land landing system that uses thruster instead of parachute, potentially eliminating the ocean recovery although. And the NASA's Orion capsule is designed to withstand even more higher speeds to return from the moon. So this is what exactly happened the past 9 months about their planning, their re-entry and other stuff. If you are interested in this way content, follow for more informative videos like this and kindly do subscribe and share with your colleagues who are also interested in this tech as well as geopolitics. We are mainly focusing on the science tech as well as geopolitics content, and hope you guys have a great day with this. So that's a joy. See you next video.